Underdog plus Sheishfed presents a dark grim story. The dark secrets of subway tunnels. I will tell you a story, what I will remember for the rest of my life. I even miraculously survived, and even telling you this with horror in my thoughts when I remember what happened. So, I'm orphan. I never knew and never saw my parents, but this does not negate the fact that I must somehow live, especially in a big city. I graduated from a technical school, and now it was necessary for me to look for a job. And here I am, sitting in my small apartment, looking through what vacancies is available, and along the way chatting with an interesting girl, who I met recently and look like we have a lot in common. So I want to take her on a date, if she agrees, of course. Naturally, I realized that I needed money to take her to a good restaurant, and to get to know her even better. And then I thought that I was lucky to find a part-time job in the local subway, with weekly payments. Oh god, how wrong I was. I should not have gone there, but... well, anyway, when I did not even know what was waiting for me and called, the shift foreman answered me and confirmed that he really needed power line installers in the subway tunnels. The work is difficult and on the night shift, but I can handle it. So I agreed to meet him on Monday. I immediately write to that girl and offered to meet her on Saturday at a good restaurant. She agreed. Great! It remains only to book a table. I called in the restaurant and booked one of the best tables with a good view. Fortunately, I worked in this restaurant earlier as a courier, and they know me well, so there were no problems. And here comes the first working day. I was asked to come in the afternoon, so I could be instructed and get all the documents for the passage to the facility. On the first day everything was fine. I worked all night and late the night work, and in the morning I checked in and went home. It was a pleasure to work with a foreman, a good and cheerful man. Tuesday I slept, on Wednesday I went out again, Tuesday was a day off again, and then comes the day when I really shouldn't leave the house at all. Friday the 13th. I have a nightmare night before my shift and woke up in a cold sweat. Only now I realized that apparently some higher powers were trying to warn me about horrors that come later. I did not attach any importance to this nightmare, and all my thoughts were only about how I would have a great time with a pleasant girl tomorrow. And I have already forgotten that I had a dream back then. Dreams, unfortunately, tend to be forgotten quickly. Getting ready for work and changing into work robe, I again had some bad premonitions. But I reassured myself. Oh, come on man, what possibly could go wrong? What possibly could happen? We're at the subway tunnels, millions of people pass through them every day. God, how terribly wrong I was. And here I am at the facility. The foreman said that today he had a day off. But there were only minor jobs left, so I can handle it alone. And generally he was right, there really was just a bit of work left. I was given a week's salary at the cash desk in advance before the last day before weekend. Back then I should just take the money and leave. Now I'm very sorry I didn't do it. But of course, at that moment I understand that it makes no sense for me to run away. It's better to calmly finish the work and relax all weekend with a cool girl I was lucky to meet. Maybe my hairs will call me again, if I will prove myself as a consciousness worker. Alright, all the bad thoughts out. My plan was simple. I go to the station attendant, take the keys to the wind shaft, and enter right through it through the technical passage, and go down the stairs straight into the tunnel. As I getting closer to my destination, I was eaten by some bad feelings. Clouds gathered over the shaft, and in its center there was some kind of a hole, through which a beam of moonlight broke through and ominously illuminated this ventilation kiosk. I then became uncomfortable. I was also bothered by the fact that I was completely alone. There was a suspicious silence around me, a feeling that someone was waiting for me, watching me over. I started to open the kiosk door, but out of the corner of my eye I saw that someone was approaching me from the side. I thought it might be another installer, decided to come along with me, so as not to make a detour through the station. It's just what there was already a similar case last week, and I decided that it's even good, since something was already starting to scare me. But at least I'll chat with someone and it won't be so scary anymore. However, as soon as I turned my head and was about to say hi, no one was there. I didn't like it very much, you know, because I distinctly heard the steps and the rustle of clutches, and as soon as I turned my head, silence reigned again. If he wanted to play a prank on me, he would not have had time to hide while I was turning my head. It was really very strange, and cold sweat even ran down my forehead. I stood and did not know whenever I should run as fast as I could or go inside. After standing for a minute and thinking, I still hoped what it seemed to be me and what just the wind hitting the walls of the ventilation kiosk created with noises. I open a slightly rusty metal door. It starts to creak loudly, which even echoes through the neighborhood. Going inside, I thought it would be better, but no. The inside wasn't much better, unless it was as quiet as outside. At least the wind was howling through the tunnels. It was at least a little calming, but atmosphere there was truly tense. I closed it and locked the creaky door behind me and put the keys on my zip pocket. Then started down the step and stairs into the tunnel. The station duty officer carefully turned on a dim light for me in the tunnel, knowing what work would be carried out there today. So in general everything was more or less visible, and I did not have to turn on the flashlight on my helmet. As I descended to the stairs below, the wind made some demonic and terrible noises. My heart was pounding, and I really thought about climbing bed and running away whenever my ass looked. And again I was surrounded by deathly silence, like in the cemetery. Somewhere was heard drops of water dripping onto the floor. This silence was not present in tunnels for the past few days, or I somehow did not notice it. However, I did not work alone then, always was with someone. I walked through the tunnel to my place of work, went onto the railway tracks. I looked into the electric shield and make sure what the voltage was removed from the contact third rail. Everything is in order, but it's worth checking once again. End of part 1.